everybody, welcome to Off the Rack, I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So, if you haven't gotten a notification yet, there is an issue I've noticed that folk aren't getting their notifications about new shows that are coming out. For example, last night, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly returned, triumphantly, I might add.
Yes.
We had a live appearance at Zap Comics in Wayne, New Jersey, and we shot a whole GBU. It was cut in a record time, I might add, and released. It's out. You can watch it after this. Stick around this channel and browse around while you're here, by the way, if you're a newcomer. But yeah, GBU came out. It's Batman crossovers, ridiculous ones.
Yes.
I might add. And it's out and it's fun, and the views are all right, but I don't want to start killing every show we do. Right. So watch them and share it if you are of a mind. By the way, if you're watching this show live, guess what? You're an unwitting sponsor of today's episode. If you want to be, that is. Of course, entirely voluntary, but if you want to have a question or comment read here on the show, use those super chats in the YouTube comment section, and we will read it here on the program, and that's how it works. You give us a little bit of cash, we'll read your comment or question. That's the transactional situation.
That's what it is.
But we're encouraging you to do that because it does help keep things moving here, keeps the wheels greased, that is to say, at the well-oiled machine that is ComicPOP. Thanks for your oil, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do that, of course, bit of business. GBU, it's out, it's back. I'm looking forward to doing more. We got a stack of books. And now the con season is pretty much over. Toy Con is coming up, I'll be there. Now the con season's over, we can finally relax and actually start focusing on the channel a lot more, working on that kind of, all that stuff, making more videos, and I have a bunch of stuff I want to bring back. I have an old show from 2 years ago that I want to bring back. I'm looking forward to that. Tiffany's finding out for the first time.
I am. I was really scrambling to...
Yeah.
Remember a conversation we did.
This is a live show. I like to bring up some stuff. So, all right. The shows that you know about. Back issues Off the Rack, maybe, if you're watching the show now. Elseworlds Exchange podcast. Some changes going on with that show. I also want to bring back some other shows like Comic Line, where we take a topic and hash it out in the show, in the studio with the regulars. I also want to bring back Comic Fights. I want to see if there's another option for Comic Fights to come back. I also want to bring back Comic Pop Draws. Yay. Which we're going to change the name. I think we're going to call it drawing comics from memory. Just we're not gonna put our name in there. See if that helps. But yeah. So we'll get into the super chats in a second. Yeah. But hey, do you like free giveaways? Because we have one right now in this episode, and thanks to our eagle-eyed moderator Danielle, hopefully we'll be able to pick one out. So if you're watching the show live, I've got a big-ass book for you from Dynamite Comics. We haven't worked with Dynamite Comics. We haven't worked with Dynamite Comics in a long time, actually, if ever. But they have a number of items in their catalog that I was like, that sounds kind of cool, or, oh, I've read some of that, and I kind of dig it. I'd be willing to work out with something with you guys. So here's what we're working out. I've got a big-ass book I'm going to be giving to you, you watching the show right now. Danielle, our intrepid moderator, is going to pick a random character from the chat, at random, who uses the hashtag Red... I don't want to misspell it. It's Red Sonja. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it hashtag Dynamite. That's easy enough for everybody. But hashtag Dynamite. If you use it, Danielle will randomly select one of you by the end of the show. So stick around till the end of the show, and you'll win this. Look at this. The complete Gail Simone Red Sonja hardcover book. Yeah, wow. This is a book that Tiffany would like to own, but I couldn't promise we'd cover on back issues, so I figure what the hell, we'll just give it away. Why not?
Oh. No, I'm good. I'm glad.
Well, listen, if it works out, we'll have plenty more where that came from.
This is a standard edition, but this is oversized.
Oh, yes, it is. It is as oversized as, I don't know, any number of books, like this Avatar book we have from IDW. But yeah, Dynamite makes some pretty books. Dynamite has the license for Red Sonja, among other characters. Vampirella is having a resurgence. She's coming back in a big bad way. If you want to see that kind of thing on this channel, a big bat way. She's not actually a vampire. She's an alien. Anyway, if you want to see more of that kind of thing, particularly the Red Sonja stuff, let us know in the comments if you're watching this after the fact, or let us know in the chat right now if you're watching it live. So please, participate, #Dynamite throughout the show, and some intrepid, incredible member of the population will win this big-ass book, which I will mail to you, hopefully within the continental United States, but, you know.
It can go anywhere.
Them's the breaks, you know? I gotta pay the bills.
Cover gallery.
Yeah, it's a great book. Perhaps if we work with Dynamite a little more, we might cover this book. I don't know. It really depends on you, actually. If you watch the show, if you'll watch that, you'll get it. So, while Tiffany looks at that, I'm going to read some super chats as we get into the books of the week. Death Insanity. Thank you very much for your contribution. You also said, have you read Spider-Man Life Story? Because I just got the complete collection and was greatly entertained. Also, have you read Amazing Mary Jane #1? Well, Amazing Mary Jane is, of course, part of the books we're going to be talking about today on this weekly comic book review show. And not only have I been plugging Spider-Man Life Story since its first issue, but I do, in fact, own the trade paperback. And at some point, probably next week, I'll be doing a giveaway for that trade paperback as well, because I think it's so good. I need someone...
But not that one, because that one was a gift.
Yes, no, I know, but I got to get another one. But yeah, but someone needs to read this book who can't afford to get it, hopefully. Saud El Thani, our good friend in the chat here, saying, hey guys, how's it going? It's going very well.
Oh,
it's going even better now, thanks to your incredibly generous contribution. Thank you, Saud, man. That's very, very kind. It's very generous. I really appreciate it, man. We are doing well. I hope you are as well. I'm sure I'll see you in the chat. CJ Levin says, hey, Sal and Tiff, I did my lifelong goal of getting into medical school, and it's been achieved. I'm going to be a sorry, it's having an issue like actually scrolling. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to reload this.
You can just scroll up.
Yeah, I'll just find your chat from here. Here we go.
We did it.
I'm going to be a doctor, something that comics helped guide me towards. So thank you for helping me rediscover comics. Man,
that's fantastic.
That's very, very generous of you to say, very generous of you to offer.
Yeah.
And also congratulations for being
that's incredible.
in such an incredibly selfless and difficult to master profession.
Just don't get too cocky and get into a sports car.
Yeah, no, don't destroy your hands. You, although, I mean, you know, worked out for Steve eventually.
I wouldn't bank on that.
No, I wouldn't. But yeah, #Dynamite, get this book. But thank you all so much in the super chats for helping us out already. At the top of the show, show's already only 7.5 minutes long, and yet we got so much more to cover. Let's jump into them. Amazing Spider-Man #32 debuts with, was it Patrick Gleason? It's Patrick Gleason's art. Patrick Gleason made the jump. From
he web swing on over.
He did. I mean, he wasn't
web
swung over from DC over to Marvel to do Amazing Spider-Man. Could do worse than the flagship character of the Marvel Universe at large. Did an amazing job with this issue. I loved Gleason's art. The story was cool. We are out of Absolute Carnage. We're done with those times.
We're absolutely done.
Absolutely. Instead, the opening is that Miguel O'Hara, a refugee from the year 2099, is back, crashes into an oil refinery, causes untold damage, but is captured for his troubles. And now the future of 2099 is in jeopardy. Of course, that's when you realize, oh my god, this is yet another tie-in where it's going to connect Aquaman. He's drawing 2099. He's drawn so much. So, yeah, we're just thrilled that he's doing that. But yeah, so anyway, it ties in with what all kind of already knew was the recently resurrected Silver Sable.
I was going to be like, that's, yeah.
Yeah, we've known that for years.
She was in the game, no.
Yeah, she was in the game. But no, I think she's been resurrected for years now.
Sure.
But Spider-Man didn't know. So then we get a kind of flashback to Miguel kind of like escaping from the refinery and making his way into New York, knowing that he desperately needs to find Peter Parker. And Peter's got enough trouble on his plate. He's got to balance school, and his would-be future wife or past wife is off on the other coast, and she's doing all kinds of crazy stuff and meeting men, and he can't compete with all that. He can't get roped up in time travel shenanigans, but I bet he will.
Maybe he won't.
So yeah, it's fun. It's totally fun. By the way, if you do run into any issues with the stream, just reload the page. I'm having some issues with OBS. I don't know what they are, but it's like this channel is like doomed to failure. from there, let's move on, I guess, right? I mean,
Yeah. What else you got?
I got lots of stuff going on, but what do you have?
I don't have as much, so that's why I was like, what do you got?
All right. I'll just do a quickie because I don't want to really get into this too deeply because it's so long.
I noticed that was very long.
Yeah, Spider-Man Full Circle, which is written by everybody. It's ridiculous. It's long. The idea here, the conceit, if you will, of Spider-Man Full Circle is this book was in like. The first chapter was written by Hickman. And he's like, okay, go for it, guys. And then Al Ewing, Chip Zdarsky, Spencer, everybody like who would be or enjoys working on Spider-Man takes a chapter and continues the story and doesn't communicate with anybody else. And then by the time they get all to the last chapter, then they all got back together and figured out how to wrap it all up. And, of course, they each tried to throw a monkey wrench into it and make it even more ridiculous. And it is. And it's got a lot of great artists in there. It's just ridiculous.
Is Spider-Man a dog?
Spider-Man becomes a Wolfman. But to be fair, so does everybody else. Why is Spider-Man a Wolfman? You'll have to read the issue to find out more. I don't want to get into it because, again, this issue is about $10. So it's like, is it worth it? Well, it depends on how much page action you want. Because I think this issue is almost 100 pages. It's about 84 pages plus of story plus about 3 or 4 pages of back and forth between the writers,
which is kind of cool.
Which is a lot of fun. I'm sure it's scripted, the interactions, but it's still fun to see them playing together and doing what they do. It's really cute because like Al Ewing literally just steps in and goes like, "Hey, stop arguing. I've edition of ZapCon or Zap Comics." When we arrived there, I was like, you know what? Like somebody mentioned they wanted to pick it up, and I was like, well, here it is. And so I just grabbed it for them.
You did.
So because it's just that cool. If you're gonna go in turtle order, it's Raphael, then Splinter. What?
No, it's true.
But he also gave me a stack of 90s books and that all have words like blood or brigade in them, and so I'm looking forward to figuring out what we're going to do with those.
And I was also given Berserk, which I'm going to crack into.
Yeah, you got to go Berserk on it.
What?
Dimitri says, love the show, love Harbor Patrol. Harbor
Thank
Patrol
you.
was our RPG series. Will we see Swamp Thing, Hellboy, East of West, or more Sandman on back issues? Love to see Tiffany lead one of them. Well, she'd probably lead all of them. But she did an old school episode of a show called Hack and Splash Page where she covered East of West.
Yep.
Hellboy we'll never see on the show. F Hellboy. And Swamp Thing definitely. It's just a question of when. We were going to try and tie it in with the show, but when the show was killed unceremoniously, it was like, what are we doing? Why would we bother? And then it's like, I guess the next time to do Swamp Thing really is any time.
Anytime.
Because Swamp Thing's
time for Swamp.
I think Swamp Thing has enough of a following where we do okay.
He's evergreen.
That's true. Good call. That's very funny. And Sandman next time.
Yeah.
Not next time, but we'll do Sandman.
Yeah.
Z-Berm says, what Marvel artist would you like to see jump into DC? I've seen Bagley do DC, and it's like, to varying results. But I don't know. I mean, Marquez is over there. I really don't want to see anybody leave right now.
I don't either.
I'm very happy with where everybody is. I don't want anyone to leave.
Does Ribic work on one side of the
I don't know,
fence?
honestly. I feel like Ribic could do well at DC, but I don't want him to leave. So
no,
but yeah, and I don't have a book for him over at DC yet.
I don't either.
So I would not want him just to leave.
Come up with one.
Because like Marquez is kind of like he's doing great with Batman, Superman, but it's also like the coloring needs work.
Ribic could maybe do like a fun Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but they try that. I don't know why, but it never quite reaches the level that everyone expects Wonder Woman to get to when they go like full kind of like fantasy.
Yeah.
Jack O'Connell, how's Roxxon still a company after War of the Realms? Marvel politics makes sense now. Spider-Man Full Circle was mad crack, completely crazy. It was crazy. Roxxon, Roxxon is funny because it's actually one of the most realistic things in the Marvel universe because it's about like a sinister corporate entity that, despite their obvious illegalities, still manages to continue. So yeah, I think, how does it work? Because it's the most realistic company in the Marvel universe. Companies that make unstable molecules and gives them away for free. No, that's not going to make any money. That's not going to exist. Parker Industries' quick and rapid decline using broken tech as its linchpin. Have you heard of Apple? Like broken tech and crappy devices that companies like that thrive, or at the very least don't like immediately go under. So, Roxxon does pretty well, and it's probably because it's so evil. Canes World says, can't stay, but here's some tithing. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Canes
so
World.
much.
Wow, man, that's very generous. I don't know if I like calling it tithing. I think that has sinister overtones to it. But I do appreciate it, and I'll take them anyway.
Gambit has to deal with it.
No, he did. And also, they were the Thieves Guild, so no, that's bad. Mr. Supertastic says, Backish felt like a throwback to older ones this time, and I loved Terminator 2. Let me just jump back into that. He says, Ethan questioning the science is great, especially if Ben or Sal try to explain it, and some of the most informative tangents we had. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, by the way, we did a back issues on, what was it, Terminator 2 Cybernetic Dawn, which is the true Terminator 3 until Dark Fate finally comes out.
Right.
But I think you're really going to enjoy it. Check it out if you haven't already. It's really fun. Hashtag Dynamite. Get a book. It's pretty dope. But, yeah.
Smells like new book.
It is. It was sealed. Well, it wasn't sealed like with wrap with plastic wrap. It was like they took it like from the printer and put it into a manila envelope.
Of book.
But yeah. So I guess we can move on.
All right. You want me to talk about something?
Yeah, why not?
We could chat briefly about King Thor.
Why not? Yeah, King Thor. This is now, is Aaron leaving after King Thor, or is he leaving Thor and King Thor? Like, I know he's leaving Thor and the character behind.
Yeah, well, like, he's leaving Thor behind, and I believe this is a 4-part series, so I assume this is, like, the end of it. The end?
Okay.
I mean, they brought Gore back.
Right. So I mean, well, and it's King Thor, which actually is kind of sounds like his Conan run, where it's like...
King Thor.
Because King Conan, of course, is the end of Conan.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's where we know the final demise of Conan will take
Well,
place.
you know that's not where Conan's going down. Well, anyway, yeah, but this is more like, it's not couched in the storytelling that
Aaron likes to do.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. Aaron's got a soft spot for, like, taking a character you know and bringing them to, like
prominence.
Yeah, like being like, here they are, look at them years down.
Yes, he does like to play with history, future history of those characters.
Exactly. Art by Asad Ribic.
Naturally.
So that was kind of, I guess, on my mind.
That's pretty sweet.
Gore is back. He's back in town.
Oh no.
Loki like brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
Like they made a deal.
Okay.
Essentially.
Gore and Loki, that is.
Gore and Loki. That Loki wanted him to kill Gore because, according to Gore, he didn't think that he'd be able to do it in the end.
Okay.
Like Loki was like,
right, because he's too familiar.
Yeah, yeah. And it turns out the truth of it is Loki hired Gore, or like made the deal with Gore, because he, like, the deal is to kill Thor so he can see it happening, and then he'll kill Loki because Loki wouldn't be able to kill himself.
Right, and he needs to because he's the god killer.
Right, so he wouldn't be able to, like, do it himself because he's too afraid.
Right.
Or what have you.
Yeah.
Thor does a whole lot of cool stuff. As Gore, basically, like, Loki has, like, a part of his, like, black sword. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He has, like, a crystal of it. Gore already basically has taken control of it. He's basically letting Loki think that he's got it. Like, yeah. Whatever. He, like, hangs the two out to dry. Thor uses his lightning and, like, shoots it through his eyes, his mouth, I'm not sure, and, like, blasts Gore into space so he and Loki can have a conversation as he, like, calls forth Mjolnir.
Okay.
And also gets the sword.
Right.
And he's like, Loki, come on, you and I can beat him together.
Yeah.
And Loki's like, stop
assuming I'm always going to help you. I'm never going to.
Well, and also, like, stop trying to save the universe. It's over. It's done. We're going to die. He was right. We have to stop.
Okay.
And, like, and Thor's like, no, man, no, come on. We can do it. We can do it. He's just like, oh, fine. If you're not going to help me, I'll just do it on my own. I got this.
Right.
I got this. So he goes out into space to meet Gore, who, remember Loki had that planet where he was like the little worm?
Yeah.
I think it was Ego.
Right.
Yeah, maybe I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I thought it was a living planet. And I remember we were trying to debate whether or not like it was Ego or not.
But he pulls all of the black out of there into him and is able to make his sword. I'm trying to make sure I get the name right. The Annihilablade. Annihilablade, which is the Planet Cleaver. It's a gigantic sword.
That's a dope name.
It is
the Annihilablade weak. Planet Cleaver?
Yeah,
I'm on board.
The Planet Cleaver.
I'm back. You pulled me back in.
And so essentially he's going to use it to end all of creation. Like,
right, he's going to cut the... Well, like, is it a universe cutter, or is it, like, creation for people who live on a planet? Or is he just going to cut every planet?
I think he can go from planet to planet.
Okay.
He's got time. Where's he going?
Well, all right.
And his plan is to he will create new life.
Right.
That doesn't follow gods. And he'll let them, like, do their own thing without having to worry about that kind of thing. He'll watch from beyond, not doing anything, basically. And I'm like, you really can't control people are gonna like what life is going to
If it's sentient life, they're gonna believe in something, at least as they get, there's new sentience.
There's like a little part of you that wants to see like a one shot of Gore doing that and being like,
oh, I'm a dumbass.
Damn it.
Yeah. He's like the most insistent teenager ever.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I figured it out.
You didn't, Gore. Relax.
Yeah.
So we check in with Thor's granddaughters who are in space. They got that book.
Yep.
And one of them's reading it, and like the other two are like, we gotta go back. We have to go back and help our grandfather.
Right.
And she's like, no, we have to go back to the beginning. And they're like, oh, and they start like listing a whole bunch of things that we've seen fairly recently, like Jane Foster, Man God, War of the Realms.
Is this when they pepper in, or are there a couple other things that we haven't seen yet that they reference?
The Cosmic God cop cases.
Okay, I don't know what the hell they're talking about there.
But I was like, oh, could that be... No. I was like, could that be Ghost Rider?
Sounds like it.
The Cosmic Ghost Rider?
Yeah, well, Aaron is insisting on him, so yeah.
So anyway, no, what she realizes that is it's prayer. Like, that's where it all began.
Oh.
And, like, we see that, like, on Midgard, Loki's, like, strung up, waiting to die, basically, and there's, like, a person, a human there, and they're praying. And, like, Loki's like, could you stop? Like,
right.
Could you just let me die in peace? And they're like, no, we'll pray. We'll pray to help you and, like, All-Father Thor and such.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's going to come into play. But
no
we
doubt.
We have 2 more issues to go, so it's not going to come into play just yet.
Right.
We see the Planet Cleaver do its planet-cleaving action. If it came as a toy...
Oh, no.
It would come with
planet-cleaving action!
Whoop-ha.
A bunch of cool kids who were just like, whoa!
Exactly. Thor is trying to get him away from Midgard, and so they're in another universe or another area, galaxy, where that happens. They have his 3 suns, essentially.
Sure, okay.
And Thor uses his hammer to draw some of the power up from that to attempt to basically throw the suns at Gore, which he does, and like it really doesn't do anything at the end of the day. And Gore holds up a whole bunch of bones and is like, this is all the people you failed to save, Thor.
Oh my God.
That's what's gonna happen to Midgard.
Right.
You can't save them. Stop. Thor will not stop, obviously. Good. Inevitably, like, Gore is going to kill Thor, and Loki shows up and is like, that's not what the deal was. The deal was that, like, I was supposed to see it happen, and you know what I mean? Like, you're failing at it. Thor thinks that he's just there to save him. Obviously, it's not. Loki and he have a moment together as, like, Gore basically washes over them with the black, because he's just like, gods can walk on water, but I am the sea.
Yeah.
He's like, I am a force of nature.
Well, that sounds familiar.
And I'm like, that's cool. And, like, as they're in the blackness, like, Thor and Loki, I'm like, this is, like, some of, like, Ribbick's best work is in pencils.
Yes.
End of story. Like, one of the last pages of this book, or the last 2 pages of this book, are just these beautiful pencil drawings. And it's Thor and Loki talking to one another, and that, like, like, Loki's like, why won't you just, like, let me die? Like, stop trying to save me.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it. And Thor reveals that, like, the final words of their mother was not that, like, screw you, Loki, you suck. It was that, like, it was... like, Thor, don't give up on your brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, I failed you, Loki, and I failed her. And then the 2 of them reach for each other, and that's where, like, it ends. And I was like, that's really cool!
Yeah.
Like, that's tragic and cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen, and how Loki will or may not, like, do anything
succeed or
to
not
help.
Yeah.
Or, like, maybe Thor has to let him go, and that's
like the lesson.
Yeah, like giving him his peace. Because Gore mentions that, like, Loki summoned him. Gore had found peace where he was because there were no gods.
Right.
And so he was very happy to be there. And now he's back, and he's like, well, now I have to do all this work.
Yeah. So Loki is the main antagonist for Thor, which is cool.
Yeah, it all comes back to that. And again, it has that very much that, like, mythology, storytelling kind of like, feel to it. So
exactly.
That's neat.
That's nice. Good recommendation.
Thanks.
Joshua Wright says, here's from Bones for being awesome. Was supposed to attend Terminator Red Carpet. It's canceled because of fires, but you guys always improve my day.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry about the fire. It's never going to stop. It's so awful. And also, hey, cool. You were going to go to the red carpet for Terminator. Hey, I've always wanted to see Terminator, guys. I would like to go, but fine. #Dynamite. TB says, will you be having Snyder or any other creators on Elseworlds again anytime soon? I always get some great content and insight out of those conversations. Me too, man. I do. And I love having Scott on the show. Josh and Williamson were supposed to come on, but New York Comic Con got in the way. We worked out a deal with Charles Soule and Scott Snyder. We're going to come on to pimp Undiscovered Country.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen anymore. But Scott's welcome anytime. Actually, Soule's welcome anytime if he wants to. Any creator that we like or that we've worked with or that we've enjoyed, whose work we enjoy, I want to get on the show.
It was mentioned on my stream last night that you should get Bendis on. If that were possible, that would be like a hell of a conversation. I
agree wholeheartely. Brian likes to talk, and so do I. So, and he said yes before. We've invited him on the show, not on that show. But when I was like, before we even had a channel, I invited him on to a podcast. And he was like, yeah, man, just email me. That was going back a ways. But yeah, so maybe I'll take him up on it.
Yeah.
Dan S. says, Cosmic Cops Thor during Secret Wars? That was the Thor. That was
the Thor core.
That was the Thor core. But
that
not,
could be.
Yeah. I don't know. Sounds good. I always like that idea.
The Thor core?
Yeah, well, the Thor core is actually a relic from like the 90s or 80s. But having Thors as cops that Doom used, that was so cool. I like that a lot. So yeah, jumping back into the books, really quickly, I just want to say that Batman Curse of the White Knight continues to be incredibly great. I really enjoy it. I don't want to get too deep into it because, like, it's weird. It's like issue 4, and I think there's 8 issues in this series.
Oh, so we're only like at the halfway
mark?
We're
only at the halfway mark, and it doesn't feel like it. Like, it feels like we're almost about to finish. So,
which means that some sort of other thing is going to happen?
Well, Joker, like, is the catalyst for what's happening, but he also hasn't really been in any issues. A lot of other, like...
Wait, Joker is? I thought Azrael was.
Yeah, Azrael is a puppet by the Joker.
Oh,
but at least you're assuming that because it's called Curse of the White Knight, and Joker was the White Knight,
right.
So, you know... in any event, it's a cool book. I love Sean Gordon Murphy's art. He takes classic Batman moments and reinterprets them so that you're like, oh, hey, they're doing that thing. But also giving you things you've never seen before. It's a great moment where it's a flashback of Alfred wielding a rapier, and it's like, oh,
that's cool.
Pure Alfred.
Yeah.
Leslie Tompkins, secret mysteries. It's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun, and of course, it's an Elseworlds type Batman story, so it doesn't affect continuity. It's not going to change anything.
Right.
So it's just a fun, pure Batman story all on its own. You should definitely read it if you aren't already.
Right on.
In a similar fashion, Batman Superman is a book that I've been lukewarm on for the first 2 issues.
Yes.
I enjoyed this issue. I thought the art was getting better. Marquez needs a strong colorist and inker. Otherwise, his magic kind of fades away. But this issue was a lot of fun. It's funny because they took the premise of the last issue, which was infect Superman with a little bit of the Batman Who Laughs stuff, so we get the Superman Who Laughs.
I feel like just a little bit. There's no just a little bit with this type of infection.
I agree, but because Batman is the cure from the previous series, which didn't matter. And basically, you get to see Superman be evil for a minute before Batman Who Laughs reveals pretty much within the first page that he knows that Superman's trying to pull the wool over his eyes.
Yeah,
and Batman
which is like impossible. There's erased so much over his eyes.
Yes. So Batman is like, or Batman Who Laughs, he's just like he hints, and Batman proper is like, okay, Clark, the jig is up. And so he stops him, and and then Batman Who Laughs reveals that he infected Jim Gordon.
Yeah, which was like,
But like I thought they were really going to drag that out because for no reason it was dragged out for a while.
Yeah.
So Batman confronts Gordon in some really dope looking pages. I love Marquez's Gordon. He looks so great.
He does.
And Gordon then busts out.
I know, I read it.
Yeah, a character that Tiffany would have really been excited to see. It's the friggin' bat armor.
It is. And, like, I was excited, sort of, but, like, at the same time, I was like, I feel like this should have come earlier, especially because what happens to it.
Yes.
I was like, okay, so you just, no.
We knew no one was going to use it.
And he's not in it.
He's not in it. Well, no, but he's proven in the Snyder run that he didn't need to use it.
Yeah, but now he does.
Yeah, but I liked it a lot. I liked seeing Batman and Superman team up and fight. I liked seeing the bunny suit again. I liked that Gordon used it. Like it was just fun.
Yeah, and it's like a weird mask he puts on.
Yeah, that's the Gordon who guffaws mask, I guess. I don't know.
It looks like he made it out of like a piece of cardboard he found on the street before he got here.
Right? I don't know. But it was great to see Batman fight Jim. I love the image of Batman and Gordon.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of really great art in this issue, and Williamson just sets Marquez up for success. The story itself is like, whatever, all right, it's fine. But I'm enjoying it so much, and the reveal, which I won't reveal in this episode, of who was the other person that Batman Who Laughs infected was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really surprising because, of course it was. Because it was made up just for it to be a surprise.
Right.
It was really cool. I was just like, oh, wow. Like, that's cool. All right. Okay. I have no skin in this game, so whatever.
No, it's true.
What are you looking for?
I was just looking at the chat.
Wow.
I just like peeking around every once in a while.
Sure. So yeah, I recommend it more than the last 2 issues, and if that's a good indicator because it means maybe that the book is shaping up.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Right.
So yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah.
We got 2 more books on my side.
I read both of them.
Oh well, great. We'll talk about both of them in a minute.
I read Justice League Dark number 16.
Hey.
It's like, wait. We're dealing with the Witching War right now, which is obviously tied in to
the Witching Hour?
No, tied into what's going on in Justice League proper.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because Cersei was recruited by Luthor and given a team.
It's a darker Justice League Dark.
It is a darker Justice League
or Legion
Dark.
of Dark.
That's the lead. Yeah, it's the. I don't remember what it was. I don't know.
It was very insane.
It doesn't matter. Is what at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because Cersei's doing her own thing anyway.
Yeah.
Like she'll use Luthor's people, but at the end of the day, she's got her own plan. Doesn't care.
Of
what
course,
he's doing.
she's a god. She doesn't need to listen to Luthor.
Doesn't care. This plan includes like getting all of like the magic that she can and becoming magic itself. Basically, it's Hecate's plan.
Isn't this
Cersei's
Witching
doing.
Hour?
Yeah, but that was, I mean, like, Cersei was playing the game from the beginning, you know what I mean? And so, like, there is something clever to that, because she's just like, yeah, Hecate was an idiot.
Right. Okay.
And like, Wonder Woman's like...
No. You're an idiot, Cersei.
Exactly. At the same time, though, Cersei's totally winning right now, so who cares? Because in the last issue, Diana asked, not Dr. Fate, and Zatanna to help her get back to that moon mindscape that she was in, you know, where Witchfire's hanging out.
Yeah.
Who's still there. And they use the Eclipso Diamond.
Oh, no!
Which they have. Like, the entire bottom level of the Justice League Dark headquarters is just filled with magical artifacts.
Right.
Like the Spear of Destiny and Merlin's Crystal Ball and the Eclipso Diamond.
Cool.
Because Eclipso, I guess, or the diamond, or whatever, was created as a, like, countermeasure to Hecate's power by those who are also powerful on in
that's
our
quite the
plane of
retcon.
existence. And so, like, well, the idea is, like, she's of the moon. Like, she is the moon, essentially.
You know
she's
what?
the
I'm
true
fine
moon.
with it. I'm not going to argue.
And so what would stop the moon? An eclipse.
Right.
Or something.
That's funny. Who wrote... No, okay.
So, they have it, like, in this, like, prison, essentially, but they need to use the diamond to get her there. She goes there, where she, of course, runs into Cersei, who immediately just tells her everything that's going on.
Yep.
And what an idiot she is.
Damn it, Diana, you are an idiot.
Yeah, essentially. And Witchfire's just standing there, because what's she gonna do? Meanwhile, Dr. Fate and Zatanna are trying to keep everything in check because Eclipso's trying to bust out.
Oh, no.
And, like, Cersei just needs that Eclipso diamond. And
right.
so she's gonna go get that, and then she'll be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
They send Clarion off to the necropolis, so now, with Grundy. So Cersei has a foothold in death.
Yep.
They send Woodrue to the Polygon of Flowers, so that she has a foothold in life. She's like, I got it all now, baby.
Yeah.
It's all me.
Right.
It's like... Basically, they go as emissaries being like, your new goddess says, like, work for you to do. So,
yes.
Hold on, folks. Detective Chimp and, what is his name? The other Dr. Fate, are stuck dealing with
this
Man-Bat.
mess. Yes.
That was once Man-Bat.
Right.
And so they're dealing with that. And, essentially, like, Detective Chimp is done. like he's finished. He doesn't want to do this stuff anymore.
No, I remember he was very weary in the beginning of the series.
Yeah, and like he's weary now because he's like, it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah,
like good people always end up like getting crap because, you know, like because they try to stand in their way. Yeah. Inevitably, like he goes to the bar and starts pulling alcohol off the shelves, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's just like, "Hang on." Detective Shrimp comes in, or not Detective Shrimp, Man-Bat comes in all of his horror, and he uses it to like cast like a spell on him. Yeah, it's like we had a whole lot of deaths here recently. They kind of upped the defense protocol here. He's like, go work on that. So Detective Shrimp leaves and like goes to talk to Blue Devil, who's obviously frozen in stone. Yep. And he's just like, what am I gonna do? And Constantine shows up, and he's just like, what's up? And he's just like, hey. He's like, you gotta help me out with something, and he pulls out of his pocket the remains of Swamp Thing. Oh. Because in the last issue, Swamp Thing was sent into the Green to try to like ascertain where Cersei was, and he stumbled upon the Parliament of Flowers and Woodrue being there. Immediately, Woodrue like filled him with the rot. Yes. And so he's like been like consumed, and he just keeps. That's funny in this. If you've watched the show, if you watch the DC Universe show.
Of Swamp Thing.
Everyone
is in it. Like Blue Devil's in it, Swamp Thing's in it.
Yeah, but like also like he says Abby.
Oh no.
Yeah, and Abby. Like in this he says Abby. In the previous issue, like that's what he needs. He needs to be given to Abby because she can fix it.
Right.
Or whatever.
Abby.
And so Constantine's like, all right. Like,
really? So Abby shows up?
No, she's not here. No. Like, because basically they're screwed. Like they're like. Swamp Thing's down. He's one of their heavy hitters. Yeah. Wonder Woman, Zatanna, and Dr. Fate are nowhere to be found right now. Right. And essentially, it's like it's all going sideways according to Constantine. And like Detective Chimp realizes that he's like, our team is being dismantled from the inside out, essentially, and we haven't even seen our
assailant. Yeah.
And he's like, this is just beginning.
Right.
And then we cut to the, like, because he's a detective, and I appreciate him using his detective skills.
Oh, I know. No, I'm just saying, like, that's a cool...
I know, it is. Yeah, and then we see, like, a set of several panels of, like, the Necropolis folk, the Parliament of, like, Flowers folk, and Wonder Woman looking up, and they see that...
Doom won.
The Doom...
Yeah, like, this is a big tie-in with
exactly
with Justice League.
It is.
We lost, by the way, Justice League. Doom won.
Exactly. So it's, like, it's funny because, like, this... Like, obviously, Tynion is telling the story he wanted to tell with Cersei. He set that up really from the beginning. Yeah. And has somehow successfully, in my opinion, mixed it in with that. If I didn't know what was going on, that would be... I'd be like, what the... I would still dig it, but I'd still be like, what the hell is this?
Right.
Like, what does this have to do with, like, Hecate or the Upside Down? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Upside Down Man, I should say.
Right.
Like... But luckily I do, so that helps.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah. That sounds like it's actually like it's not leaving you in the cold like it had been.
No. Like, and like I've always dug this series.
I know. But it was like,
It was good. Yeah.
Well, it's been a little lately.
I was concerned with how much it was tying into
the Doom War, whatever the hell he's calling it.
The Year of the Villain, which obviously would make sense considering like it's such an all-encompassing thing. So like I get it, but I was like, I think my greater concern, too, is, like, if he leaves this book to go write Batman for a time, that's going to be sad that, like...
I get the feeling that if he does leave, even if it's only for, like, 15 issues or so, we're going to see Detective Chimp show up. We're going to see something pop in. Yeah, so Man-Bat's going to be a villain or maybe a sidekick.
Yeah, so like that would
Wonder Woman's going to be teamed up with Batman a little bit more.
That would be fine. And I guess I would honestly be okay with him just shutting the door on this for now and not just handing it over to someone else who may not be ready to take up the reins of this area.
Yeah, don't be afraid to end stuff.
So
agreed.
There you go. I still recommend for me. Like, I really do love Justice League Dark.
Sure.
And if you haven't gotten on board with it, like, go back to the beginning. It is a really fun ride for these characters.
Yeah, and a pretty straightforward one, too.
It is straightforward, and, like, the characters are great because they are consistent, and they have, like, some decent growth. It's nice. So, go for it.
Comet says, you've mentioned some creators have seen back issues like Bendis and Slott. How did you find out, and what do they think about it? Thanks, you guys are great. Actually, I don't think either of those people have seen the show. I feel like I don't have any confirmation that either of them have seen the show. The only ones that I know have seen the show are Scott Snyder has seen the show. I'm pretty sure Howard Porter has seen the show. He's an artist. And, maybe Josh Williamson.
I was gonna say, we know other creators have seen other shows.
Yes, we know that. What's his name? Liebermejo has seen Comic Line and was a fan.
Yeah.
Not of us, but of the episode. He didn't make fun of us for using a puppet.
No.
I feel like Slott has seen the show because of how he's behaved towards me at the convention scene. With Bendis, I know that he didn't know who I was until his handler knew who I was, and he was like, "Oh, so I have to know who this guy is now," which I thought was very funny.
Right, and then you're like, "But like, don't look me up."
No, he should definitely watch any episode. Which Jessica Jones is a great complimentary episode. New Avengers, I love all of Ultimate Spider-Man episodes. Mm-hmm. No, I would say if I were to recommend the series to Brian, I would say we are overwhelmingly positive towards Brian Michael Bendis' work. So, statistically speaking, we love his work.
Just don't watch the most recent episode.
Don't watch Superman. I mean, even then, like, nothing we say is in any way the worst thing I've seen that it's criticism of him.
Okay.
And listen, if Snyder likes the show, then Brian's fine. But yeah, Silver Cricket says, do you believe the multiple Kitty Prides theory? I don't know that theory, but we'll get into it in a minute. So yeah,
I can see that.
But that's a great theory. That actually that just hit me. I was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Amazing Mary Jane came out. It's a miniseries about Mary Jane.
Yep.
It's cute and fun.
It is cute.
It's
thought
not
it was
breaking
going to be
new ground.
A one shot.
Oh.
But then it was like, oh.
No, I knew it was going to be. I thought it was going to be an ongoing.
Yeah.
But I was also surprised. So we were both surprised by this book and the really terrible way that they're marketing it, because we both thought it was two different series. Amazing Mary Jane is a cute series that has fun art that is utterly inconsequential. I thought Amazing Mary Jane was going to be like kind of this, like, I don't know, like more feminist angled, deconstruction of Mary Jane, about, like, watch this, like, superheroes don't need powers.
Right.
Like, Mary Jane is in power, and like at the end of the series she'll find out she doesn't need Peter Parker. Like, I thought it was gonna be one of those.
Yeah. And
instead it's just kind of like Mary Jane's a fun character. Let's literally do the subplot of a regular Spider-Man book, but without Spider-Man in it at all.
Sure. I mean, like, yes.
That's how it felt.
No, yeah, I agree.
It's a B plot of a Straczynski Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
Not written by Straczynski. And also, hey, we probably developed this back when Far From Home was coming out, because Mysterio is the main character.
Yep.
Also, in a Mary Jane book, Mysterio is the main character. It's fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it was.
The story is literally just Mary Jane is in this movie. Turns out the director is Mysterio, and it's a vanity project because he's not long for this world and he wants to tell his side of the story.
Yeah.
We see a couple of like fun throwbacks to stuff, like the issue where he killed himself in Daredevil. Like, there's a lot of neat little like fun things, because it is definitively Quentin Beck. Because of course he came back, and it's probably thanks to Kindred and whatnot.
Right.
Also, Mysterio has employed like other villains who are trying to reform, who are part of the whole process, and and that's it.
You know what it is? Like, he's such a good individual in this that I'm like waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Naturally, or at the very least that he's going to be pulled back in by his his baser instincts.
Now, that said, like, there are a few pages in here which just like make me long for the Peter Mary Jane relationship.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's just kind of like stuff that makes you go, they're never going to let you have this.
Right. Yes, the dance party.
The dance party was cute.
The dance party was cute, but like prior to that, when they actually first like start their conversation,
and
they ask each other what they're wearing, and like it's just like they're just making it up as they go. He's Spider-Man, he's fighting something.
Yep.
And, like, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I loved the interaction. That's the thing, is that like, there's nothing wrong with a supporting character being a supporting character. Like, Mary Jane is a star, and Mary Jane is a very important character in her own right. She's had trading cards dedicated to her.
Yeah.
Some heroes got neglected, and Mary Jane got trading cards. Like, she's important. But I don't think I don't know if you could keep this series going for more than a couple of issues.
Right.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I think that she is a tremendous supporting character, and I think that she, there's nothing diminishing about that. but that's the thing, is that when Spider-Man shows up in the book, and I don't mean shows up, but I mean like is featured and she is played against him or with him, paired with him. That's the strongest stuff in the book.
I guess. I mean, like, I actually really liked her conversation with Mysterio.
And that's funny because it felt like it was a naturally organic way of saying something about, like, you know, gender identity and relationships.
Oh, I just meant like the actual, like, them talking about like
the way she's written as a character.
Well, no, I meant the reforming, like him hiring on, like being like, okay, what are you doing here? And like as he's going down and explaining it,
right?
And like, also like, honestly, his like complete lack of understanding of story structure didn't help. I thought it was funny, but like the fact that
because he's a special effects guy, he doesn't care,
right? And the fact that like Mary Jane like sees what Kangaroo calls him that, and he's like, it's Brian to my mates,
right?
And so she decides to call him that, and like I kind of liked that, like slipping that in, the idea of like people who might have made mistakes in their lives, like the idea that like, oh, she couldn't help but call him that, but then realize, oh, he's just being a person, and
right?
That, like that's kind of part of what Mysterio's doing here as well, just trying to give these people a second chance. And I was like, that's kind of neat, you know? And like she's like, okay, I get it,
right?
Like I get it, I get second chances.
Yeah, it's very well written, and the art is fun, and I'm actually kind of like pleasantly surprised that they went with this direction instead of it being kind of like a serious, like grounded. You know, like, this is a great opportunity for them to explore. Like, if you're gonna do a Mary Jane series, hey, how about she goes and deals with her estranged sister and her family and how she abandoned them? Like, you could have done that.
Yeah.
And but that could have been heavy.
Yeah.
And you could only get away with that for like 4 issues.
Right, but like seemingly all of Spider-Man's rogues gallery is going to end up out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fun. They're like, oh, we're going to Hollywood. And I'm like, all right. Well, I see what you're doing. This is fun.
Maybe since Mysterio is like, he created a lot of his own props and stuff like that, maybe he'll end up creating a suit for Mary Jane to use if they have to like fend off these super villains.
I'm really excited to see Mary Jane like be a superhero in this book, because you know she will. Like, not like she'll get powers. Maybe she'll use Mysterio tech to like become Spider-Man, or you know what I mean. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing where it all goes, because you know they're not making it up as they go.
Right.
So jumping back into Super Chats.
Not like the greatest book I've read all week, but like
no. But
it was a popcorn book.
It's solid. Like it's just a solid, fine book. Mm-hmm. Enjoy if you want to.
Yeah.
Heroing 2.0 #Dynamite says, "Hey Sal, how do you think Spider-Man Life Story compares to Spider-Man Blue? Thanks for being awesome." Thank you for being awesome, man. Thank you very much for your generosity. Spider-Man Blue still beats Life Story. I love Life Story, and I think it's one of the best books of 2019. Mm-hmm. I think it deserves an Eisner. Ooh. But Spider-Man Blue is Spider-Man Blue. It's apples and oranges, totally different thing. I can't say that Spider-Man Blue is not as good. You know what I mean? Like, Spider-Man Blue is excellent. It's perfection in comics. Life Story is a really excellent book.
I think you won't be able to tell until you get further away from it, because like Spider-Man Blue has held up over the years.
That's the thing. Spider-Man Blue is timeless.
Yeah, and so if this continues to be so, then that's a discussion for
a later date. But I still prefer. I think Blue is a better work.
Ooh.
Tristan Langhorn says, "You guys are my favorite. Love you." Well, we love you too, man. Thank you very much. Saud Al-Thani back in the Super Chats with your generosity. Thank you, man. What supporting characters do you think could break into their own series today? I mean, listen, we're in the age of supporting characters doing that. You got a Jimmy Olsen series they're pushing. Yeah. You got the Wonder Twins have a series. Mary Jane's got a book. I guarantee you, like, I feel like you could get away with doing like a J. Jonah Jameson book. Like, I would love to read that. Are you kidding me? Like, I think any number of supporting characters that are well-rounded, any character that's well-rounded, could have their own book. Why? What do you got?
I was like, where is the Foggy Nelson Attorney at Law book?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Right? Foggy, maybe. No, if it was Foggy and Karen, or maybe like everyone else, like a Daredevil. I was Daredevil like,
book. It's the I guess the order part of Law and Order. It's like he's in court,
right?
Possibly with actual small-time like criminals, like super villains or what have you.
That'd be great. Yeah, a Daredevil-less Daredevil book sounds terrific.
It doesn't. It's just, you know.
It would have to be written like well. You know, you couldn't just like phone it in. That's the problem, is that like even with, you know, like the premise.
Yeah.
You still need a good creative team, otherwise it's gonna fall flat.
Right. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, they've done it before, but they should do it again. Like with Gordon and the GCPD.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's necessarily just a truly supporting character. I think he's become more a part of the Bat family over time, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, easily could carry
right.
a series. And there's something apparently about me and the idea of like the actual law enforcement and justice system working with heroes, because I've just made 2 different suggestions.
With the justice system and superheroes?
Sorry.
It's true. But yeah, so let's jump into Marauders. Marauders #1 came out. I don't think Marauders is an ongoing series, by the way.
No, I think most of them are minis.
Which is great. I was oh my god. At first I was like, wow, cool, they're really going to try and push this X-Men thing. The fact that most of them are going to be minis, I'm like, thank God. Because it means that there is an end game, no pun intended, for like Hickman's kind of like concept.
Yeah, and that probably when the stories were handed out to individuals, like, or when they were in their pitch sessions or whatever, they had to know they had to get to a certain point.
Yes.
So that like things could probably sync back up at some point, maybe.
Yeah. Jerry Duggan, Matteo Lally, Marauders is, Kitty Pryde can't get into Krakoa, but that's okay because Emma has asked her to try something different. She's gonna be kind of like, okay, so when they pitch this idea of there being like sanctioned, like the Hellfire Club is gonna be like the corporate liaison between the human world and Krakoa, and that there was like it immediately brought me back to my book, Flight of the Binturong.
Yeah.
Which, not to like plug my book, I don't want to do that. There's a comic strip, flightofthebinturong.com. It's a space adventure webcomic that I made up where I took this concept where there's these ideas that there's one world government and there's one world company, and that because there's one company and one government, they're both kind of like at odds with each other because of course like the government needs the company to make things, but the company doesn't think it really needs the government for anything, like any company does. And as such, the government then employs and condones sanctioned piracy to kind of keep the company honest, or at the very least keep the company like reminding the company who's in charge.
Right.
They're called corsairs, which of course is an actual concept that really did exist.
Right.
Sanctioned piracy or corsairs is a thing, and it happened in history and it happened in my comic. The idea that Kitty is essentially a corsair, I was like, that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Also,
although isn't Corsair the name of Cyclops' father, so I guess you could have used him, but I guess Hickman's got big plans for him.
Well, I mean, and also, like, that's what Emma wants her to do, but that's
what Emma
not
wants her to
quite
do.
what she's ended up doing at the end of this. Like, yes and no.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that, like, Emma wants her to kind of, like, help be a pirate, and Kitty wants to liberate mutants who can't get to Krakoa because, of course, the whole conceit of the book
she doesn't realize that that's what she wants to do.
Well, she finds that out at the end of the book. That's the whole thing, is that she can't get to Krakoa. For some reason, the gates won't open for her, which is also really sad because Kitty, like, desperately needs to be here. She's one of the few people who, like, because she's Jewish, like, it's, like, the concept of a promised land.
Oh, yeah.
Having, like, an area that's literally made for you, and you can't get to it, it stings a little harder for Kitty, which makes me sad. But she can't get in, and so but in true Kitty Pryde fashion, or Kate Pryde as it's retconned that Emma has revealed she really wants to be called, because she's like, I'm not a kid anymore.
Right.
In classic Kate Pryde fashion, it's like, well, I'll just make lemonade out of this. If I can't go to Krakoa, I will make sure that those who can't get to Krakoa can.
Right.
So, they crack open a door, they're going to go to Russia. The Russians are like, no.
No, it's not that. It's like...
That was when they first arrived.
Yeah, when they first get there. Well, because Kitty goes there, Kate, to deliver supplies for Wolverine.
Yes.
Because, like,
Because Wolverine's like, well, I live in paradise, but there's some things the humans did get right.
Yeah.
Like alcohol and, porno
ribs.
And ribs.
Like, he's like...
Yeah, because everything's
He's
vegetables.
like, I need ribs from here. I need, like, alcohol from here.
Yeah.
I need whiskey, beer, that kind of stuff. Like, all these very specific things. A bunch of Cuban sandwiches. Like, just stuff as many as you can in a cooler. I love his list.
Right, it's fun. Which they use in typical Hickman fashion.
Yeah.
Like, they use the Hickman stuff, but which I was really excited to see how they were going to do that with a writer that wasn't Hickman.
Yeah,
like,
and they did it, and it's humorous, and I think it really hits the mark for the like the sort of nature of this book, where it seemingly is lighthearted, but will probably have a hard-hitting message to it. Coffee's one of them.
Right.
Seriously, Krakoa?
Yeah, well, they're trying to... and they said they're working on it. They're working on it. They're trying to get Krakoa to grow beans.
Come on.
I know.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
So I love that, too, in that moment where, like, Wolverine's, like, racing. He's like, hey, thanks.
Yeah. He runs in and he just takes what he needs.
He just takes everything.
Yep.
But Bobby shows up.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm here to check this gate. Like, nobody's coming through.
Yeah.
And so he goes through it, and on the other side, it's Russia. And they find out, as was revealed a little earlier on, that, like, humanity, upon seeing these gates growing in different places, certain areas were like, no. And they won't let the mutants near the gate. That's how they're going to control it.
Exactly.
And Russia's like, no, our mutants are staying here. Those are our mutants.
Those are our mutants,
so either they can die, or they can stay here and work with us. And those are your options. So, like, Iceman goes through, and he's like, huh.
Yeah.
And there's a guy there in a big, ridiculous armor.
Yep.
Get up, almost like an Iron Man style armor.
Yes, or Crimson Dynamite.
Dynamite. And did I say dynamite?
You did. #dynamite.
But
win a book.
But the power that his armor has is the power disruptor.
Yeah.
So he shoots Bobby with it, and Bobby's just standing there,
naked.
Like, hello. Whoops.
So that's their nuclear deterrent for mutants.
Yeah. So he jumps back through, and essentially they're like, okay, well, we can't go through there.
Yep.
It's bad over there. And instead, like, Kitty gets it in her head that, like, they should go save them. She's like, why not?
Right.
I got this boat here. This boat that's never going back to the people who I borrowed it from. Who I said I was going to.
Yep.
And she starts recruiting.
Yeah, she takes a little team, like the recently resurrected original Pyro.
Well, she didn't take him on purpose.
He stowed away.
He was sleeping on the boat. And so it's Storm and Bobby is there.
Yeah.
And, like, that's her whole team. And then Pyro shows up, and, like, Bobby's like, wait, that accent. Are you?
Yeah, is that real Pyro?
The original one?
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah. I got pod people.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a test.
Right.
He's like, well, whatever.
Sad. Yeah, but whatever, I'm back.
I'm back, who cares?
Yeah.
So they go to Russia, and they save the mutants.
Yep.
And, like, there's, like, a group recording them, I think, and she makes a proclamation to the world that, like, if you're a mutant and you want to come to Krakoa and you can't get there, that the Marauders will come and get you.
Yep. Which she makes up on the spot.
Right. After she steals a sword, too, from one of the guys who shows up with a sword when they're fighting the Russians.
Yes.
And so she's like, I like that sword.
Yeah.
And so she goes back for it.
Right.
Which is fun because it gives her that pirate look because she has Lockheed on her shoulder.
Yeah.
So it gives her that, like, you know, parrot kind of, like, yo-ho like, kind of look.
Yeah.
And, like, the others decide they'll go with her for the time being.
Yeah.
And, like, so she accepts Emma's offer in a way.
Right.
And I guess, like, she'll get the boat then.
Yeah.
Because the little boat's not going to be enough.
I don't think so. But I think they're going to, yeah. They're going to get a new boat.
But it was fun. I actually had more fun with it than I expected.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, whatever. It's not the Hickman book, so I may not enjoy it quite as much.
Right.
But it was tight, and I dug it. And the art was good.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked the art.
Oh, Lolly's a good artist. I was expecting it to look more like... I don't know why, but I had a different image in my head of Lolly's art, but I remember seeing it before, and it's great.
Right.
And it's a consistent, like, it's a more lighthearted version of what you're expecting from the original book, like, from Hawks and Pox.
Yeah, and that's what, like, I'm, like, excited and concerned about, because, like, Hawks, Pox, X-Men,
yeah,
and this all have a consistent kind of feel to them.
Leinil Yu's art is very different.
It is, but there's something that, like, there's a connection.
There's a groundedness to it.
Yeah, and I don't know the artists for the other books, but, like, that could make them feel really out of place if it's not within there, since they haven't diverted all that much.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, again, like, I haven't really looked into that, so it'll be interesting to see if that has a different, like, kind of feel or like effect as you're reading.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes because there's more books on the horizon.
Yeah.
But so far, good start.
It's a great start. Like, honestly, like, I liked the high, like, seas faring adventures of this, like, crew, and I liked her choices. Like, she's like, Bobby will come because Bobby. Yeah. And I need Storm because we have a sailboat.
Right, and also, you know, Omega level mutant who can do anything, so that's pretty dope.
There's that too.
Yeah.
I also like they called, like, to the forefront again her claustrophobia.
Yes.
That, like, you know, she offered to have her come because it's like, you don't want to be trapped on this island, I guess. I don't know. Like, you want to go on an adventure.
I mean, she could always just go on the beach, but all right.
It is interesting, though, that Storm got pulled away, considering that she's
She's a high-ranking member of the X-Men, and she's clearly the MC of their resurrection events.
What are they doing? Who's going to MC it now?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but it's great. Check it out.
Dazzler.
That'd be nice. Good for her. So yeah, let's jump into some books that we want to recommend that are coming out this week that we think you should pick up. There's a bunch. I'm just gonna kind of like round robin them. Okay, Marvel Zombies Resurrection #1 is coming out. It's
on October 30th.
On October 30th. Yeah, this week. You can get it now on Wednesday. Philip Kennedy Johnson is writing it. I guess I don't know. I'm just kind of interested to see what's going on with Marvel Zombies in a post-Disney world. It sounds neat.
Right.
There's been like 5 or 6 Marvel Zombie books. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, why do it now?
Right.
Why do you dare? Let's check it out and see where it goes.
Right.
What was the other one I wanted to recommend? I think that's it. I got 2. Yeah. #Dynamite. Of course, Excalibur #1.
Nice.
Which is the next one from Tinny Howard and Marcus Toe. I've actually read the first 4 or 5 pages of this book.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a Braddock book. Betsy and Brian, that is to say. Jubilee's joining the team, though.
Well, you see there's 2 characters right there. I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Gambit and Rogue, are you kidding
me? They're just bookending this cover.
And Apocalypse.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Because, that way, Jubilee can become, the ride-along character for Apocalypse, with Wolverine.
Right. Yeah.
She could go to the mall.
Yeah.
She could bring him with her.
Right? I don't know. The inclusion of Apocalypse gives this, Justice League Odyssey vibes for me. Okay. Like when they put Darkseid on the Justice League. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But, all right. So, that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? You got a lot of things.
I do. Oh my God. Let's start in DC. Harleen #2 is coming out. I loved Harleen #1. This is by Stefan Sajic. Entirely art, writing, all of it. It's all there. I loved the first issue so much. I cannot wait to pick up that second issue and just see what we have in store for the development of Harley in this world.
Yeah.
And her character and the path that she took to where she is now.
Totally.
So I'm excited. I really dig it. I'm going to be supporting this, if nothing else, then because I want DC to know that I would prefer my John Constantine to remain in the main universe instead of be a part of a young reader series. But Hellblazer from the Sandman universe #1 will be coming out, written by Simon Spurrier, who was working on Sandman universe The Dreaming as well. I like his writing styles, and he seems to do his homework, so hopefully we'll be getting some Vertigo vibes off of this Hellblazer.
That'd be nice.
But we'll see. This one was picked out by both Sal and I as something I would probably read, if nothing else, based on the cover alone. The Last God #1, also written by that guy you just said.
Yes.
That
Philip Johnson.
Philip Kennedy Johnson. Legit don't know what's going on here.
No, it just looks neat.
I'm not going to pretend, but hey.
Yeah.
DC doing something that's Conanian.
Right? I don't see the logo for DC anywhere on the cover, which I was like,
it's
what?
DC. DC's publishing it, so I don't care. I'll check it out. Maybe it's based off of a book. I have no idea.
I don't know.
But I'm going to find out. And I encourage you to do, but not as much as I encourage you to pick up another Black Label book that's coming out next week. Basketful of Heads. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I said it right. This is by Joe Hill.
Yes.
So if you're a Lock and Key fan, or you're a Stephen King fan, or a horror fan, or the Cape fan, this might be for you. Mm-hmm. This is what Black Label should be.
Yep, man, it's not. It's Black Label plus Hill House Comics.
It is the Hill House Comics. And that's fine. That could be an agreement he had with them.
Right, it's anything with my name on it.
Because he tends to write a lot of independent comics, and so he may want to have some sort of ownership of this product.
Definitely.
I am really excited for this. I hope it's as horror filled and gory and what have you as it can be, and hopefully it proves to DC that we can handle adult comics.
Right? Be nice.
Let's chat about Marvel real quick. Doctor Strange Annual #1. If you've been on the Mark Waid train, I got off a while ago, but have been still reading it. I'm riding alongside of it.
Yeah.
The annual is coming out, so you might as well check that out. Is it written by Waid? I didn't even look.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll find out in just a moment. No! Hooray!
Well, maybe.
Well,
this rundown is terrible.
Oh yeah, that is horrible.
It's impossible to read it.
It's impossible. Who knows? But I'm still gonna grab it because I still want to.
No, it's from Teenie Howard.
Okay, fantastic. I'm excited for that then, definitely.
Great, that can break your heart because like Teenie Howard's not the regular writer on the series.
I know.
If it's great, then
Look, Wade was taking some good steps in my opinion towards the end of the series, so maybe we'll see that growth further into Surgeon Supreme. I don't know. But more excitingly, from Marvel, Conan the Barbarian is coming out. Finally, issue 10 is here or will be here. This is like hands down my favorite series that Marvel's putting out right now. Aaron is just made to write Conan.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I really am just digging all the Conan content that they're putting out. This was the first one I read. This is the one I'm the most excited about. Mm-hmm. Mainly, I think, also because of this like big final story that he's telling. It's just exciting. So
yeah,
I'm jazzed.
True that. Jumping back into the Super Chats really quick before we wrap up today's episode. There's so much more to get to before we also announce our winner. Saad Al-Thani actually did 3 Super Chats in a row with incredible generosity. So I want to say thank you so much to him.
Thank you.
And I don't want to screw it up, so let's go in the order. What supporting characters? You said that already.
We did that one?
They are all minis or maxis. I think X-Men ends at 18 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for now. If it sells well, Marvel might be like, I mean, my guess is X-Men will probably end at 18, and then it'll fold into Uncanny X-Men, and they'll go back to the original numbering.
Possibly, but here's the thing. It's, like, good and bad, because it's, like, there's, like, some degree of, like, you, like, the knowledge that like really competent people are in charge of it right now is like really comforting and like really exciting. Mm-hmm. So like that's a shame to like feel like, oh no, like it's not gonna always be that way.
Yeah.
But there's also something very comforting about the fact that that they have a beginning, middle, and end to this story, and
that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's really phenomenal.
I agree. He also asked. Oh, go sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna say. He says, why do they keep using Doom wrong? And I'm like, dude, I completely hear you, and I don't know why. If you haven't read it, there's a Doom miniseries or ongoing, I don't know, that they just launched. Doom is out of character, but he does stuff that might be kind of doomy. The story is interesting, but everything about Doom is incorrect, and he's not wrong about that. Like, I don't know what they're doing with Doom. I think it's just that, like, Hickman kind of told the biggest, most epic Doctor Doom story of all time. Mm-hmm. This is also including the Astonishing Spider-Man Wolverine story in which he became a living planet god. So, like, you've seen pretty much everything from Doom.
But it doesn't have to be the big stories. Because
no.
If you think about it, like, Triumph and Torment, while being a Doctor Strange story, is truly a Doom story.
Yeah.
And while it's on the smaller scope of things, I think it's a beautiful story that really exemplifies Doom.
Agreed. Furthermore, Zdarsky's Marvel 2-in-1 series, which is long ago now. It was like a couple years, and it's long forgotten. You should definitely read it if you haven't already. Mm-hmm. He covered Doom really well because he gets those characters, and he loves those characters. And it goes from love and respect for the character, mm-hmm. and then, you tell the story around it. But it was very intimate and very small. And just kind of like, whatever, it's just about Doom, like, doing his thing. I'm just trying to see if Danielle's contacted me about the winners, but...
Oh, okay.
But, so don't worry, I'm not, like, just checking Twitter, like, okay, this show's boring. But, honestly, like, I don't know what the issue is with Doom. He's actually jumped back in the Super Chats. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
So I read it and hated it, yeah. I loved the story idea, but everything that they did with Doom would never be a pundit on, like, a cable show.
No.
He wouldn't be petty enough to kill the anchor who makes fun of him.
No.
That Doom would have been mockable. Our Doom wouldn't have allowed, like...
Maybe that's his Doom bot.
I hope so. That's the thing, is that it could always be a Doom bot that went rogue.
But, like, that's lazy if you have to do that later on to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If you're like, oh, no, it was just this.
But it also could result in some of the best moments of that character. Like when, I think it's Claremont versus Byrne. Claremont used Doom in an arcade story with the X-Men, and then Byrne was like, hey, my Doom, like, Doom would never have been that much of a rube, so no. And so he retconned it.
Oh, that it was a Doom bot?
That it was a Doom bot in one of the best scenes, where Doom is talking to all of his Doom bots, and he says like, "Oh, you have a scratch on your cloak. What happened?" He goes, Arcade lit his match on my shoulder." And he goes, "Oh, and in what way did you dispatch him?" for such an affront on your personage. And he says, I felt that it was I felt I needed him for a later, situation. I thought I might have need of him later.
Right.
And Doom says, need? And then the Doombot explodes. And he goes, Doom needs no one. That's so perfect, and also a really fun dig. And that what's his name? Byrne and Claremont also were having like a little bit of a dick measuring contest with each other. Anyway, but like that kind of feuding I love to see in comics, and I want more of it.
I love that. That's fantastic.
But yeah, that's Doom.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, we have the winner for our Dynamite Gail Simone Red Sonja book. So here's the deal. I forgot to preface this in the top of the show, but here's how we're gonna do this. You who wins, email me, sal@comicpop.net. You got to email me. Let me know your, information. Give me your address, and I'm going to mail you this book from our P.O. box. So that's how it's going to work. So when you hear your announcement, first of all, in the chat, say, yo, that's me, hooray! And then email me, sal@comicpop.net, and let me know who you are. I do know who you are, actually, because I've already seen who wins. But let me know that's you, and then I'll send you, and give me your mailing address, and I'll send it over to you. And I promise your address will go in the vault, and it's not going to get used for any other purposes besides mailing you this thing. By the way, Cash Money in the Bank, Super Chat again says, Cash Money in the for the bank. Thank you very much, Cash Money in the Bank. You're very, very kind, very, very generous. Thank you so much. And it will go into the bank, because that's where I keep my money. So, all right, winner. It's Fat Snorlax. Fat Snorlax won the book.
No way!
Yeah!
Really?
So, yeah.
Congrats,
Fat Snorlax. You won this book. It's heavy. It's expensive. It smells new. Tiffany's been handling it the whole show. Smelling it. So there you have it. Fat Snorlax. Congratulations, man. You won this book. Sound off in the chat. And email me, sal@comicpop.net. And I'll make sure you get this handy-dandy copy. I'm actually going to mail it to you probably in the same box they mailed it to me in. I was like, oh, this is convenient. I can use this. So, congratulations. Listen, ladies and gentlemen who did participate, if you want to keep doing this, let me know in the comments. Be like, okay, when are we going to get another giveaway? And we will do it.
Yeah.
I promise you. Actually, we will probably next week do a life story giveaway. Because I really, just for me, it's not Marvel or anything. This one was actually kind enough to be given to us thanks to Dynamite. So thank you very much to Dynamite Comics for hooking us up with this book. And congratulations to Fat Snorlax for getting this book. Hope you enjoy it. Read in good health. If you do get it, take a picture of yourself, throw it on social media, and tag Dynamite in it. Say thanks for the free book.
Clutching this so I don't drop it.
I know, right? We'll just break the spine right on the stream. But yeah, listen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Before you go, watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Check out the Batman crossovers from our friends over at Zap Comics. I promise you're really going to enjoy it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications. If you don't get the notifications, do it all over again, because I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It's a bunch of bullshit. But I promise it's not our fault. We're trying to do it the best we can.
Yeah, no, sometimes, I don't get notifications when Elseworlds goes live until I open up the YouTube app.
No, you have to open the YouTube app. And
sometimes.
It's like, yeah, I do. I do every time, which is just garbage. Fat Snorlax just helped us out in the super chat in a big bad way. It says, thank you so much. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for saying so, man. Email me. I'll get back to you today. I'll try to get into the mail tomorrow. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for watching the show. Thank you so much for supporting us. To our super chatters who sponsored the show, you guys are incredible. You're amazing. You're so generous and kind. We really, really appreciate it. And we will see you guys here. Mega Drybone says, Sal, what's the name of your webcomic? It is called Flight of the Binturong. If you Google it, it'll autocomplete it for you, or at the very least, it'll help fix the spelling for Binturong. But I just dropped the FOTBcomic.com. I just dropped it.
That's fine.
Because it's over. But it's with a G. Flightofthebinturong.com.
G at the end of that.
G at the end of that animal there, by the way. But yeah, it's actually one of the few things that comes up if you Google search for binturongs. What's a binturong? It's this adorable, marmot. It's a cute little creature from Asia.
That smells like popcorn.
That smells like butter popcorn. But yeah, check out flightofthebinturong.com if you want to look for a webcomic that's complete and ends on a really, really mega cliffhanger that I do know the end of, but probably will never get to. So anyway, check out flightofthebinturong.com. But thank you so much for being here. This is the main thing. I abandoned comics to talk about them here on this channel. So thank you all so much. Thank you to my lovely co-host Tiffany for being on here. And listen, you like video games? Twitch.tv/ComicPOP. That's her channel. She runs that shit. And she plays video games Mondays and Wednesdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
Today's Monday. Wednesdays and Sundays, you can watch her play video games, twitch.tv/ComicPOP. It's a lot of fun. And you cultivated a whole thing over there.
We have a nice community. It's really nice. Everybody chats.
It is nice.
It's nice. We just talk about anything and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of comic stuff, though, too.
What's that game that's coming out? I think you're going to be playing it on the stream. Death Stranding?
Am I playing that on stream?
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Right?
I figured people weren't interested.
It's PS4 exclusive. That's what we have. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.